Playing Gran Turismo 4 like this is something else, and it's something if you grew up playing Gran Turismo 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way through, then this will really, it's really something special, I think. Not perfect, but quite fun. Hey going everyone, Nick here, and yes, I'm back again. We're doing the typical Nick return video where I have to say that I've been busy and whatnot, but it's for a good reason, because I'm getting married next month. So look, that's got to take priority, I'm afraid, over YouTube, but I'm back. Now, I thought I'd take the opportunity today, while everyone else is off playing Le Mans Ultimate, which I will play eventually. I have actually tried it, but it's going to wait a little bit, maybe a couple of updates, and then we'll get into it. I thought I'd do something different. So in my downtime between doing YouTube videos over the past few weeks, I've actually been revisiting my childhood racing experiences, in particular Gran Turismo. Now, Gran Turismo 4 on the PlayStation 2, I reckon is probably the best Gran Turismo. Yes, Gran Turismo 7 on PS5 is excellent, but Gran Turismo 4 to me is probably the last of the original feeling Gran Turismos, if that makes sense. Yes, it probably was also the start of the current design, but it was the last of the classics, I think, and actually offers an incredible amount of content and visuals for a PS2 game, a late PS2 game, but a PS2 game nonetheless. So that got me thinking, do I sit there and play on my actual PS2 with its, crappy interlaced graphics and things, or do we jump into the modern age and play some emulated, upscaled, enhanced Gran Turismo 4. Now, that's easy enough to do, right? Download PCSX2 emulator, get the game ROM. I'm not going to tell you where to get it. That's illegal. And then, set your graphics settings if your computer can handle it, upscale it to 4K, and away you go, and it looks amazing. But I've done a few things to the game so far. You might have seen the little intro bit that I did. It looks quite good. There's a total texture replacement mod, which I will link in the description. I won't show you how to install that in this video, because I will link you to a better video on how to do that by Dustin Eden, who's quite the popular Gran Turismo content creator and streamer. So I'll link to his video below so you can work out how to install that. It's a pretty big file size. It's like 27 gigs of textures to replace, but the download's only like 3 gig because it's compressed. But anyway, I digress. The point of this video is, once you've done all the graphic settings and all those changes, how do we use this? I want to relive my childhood in a way that I probably never would have dreamed. Back in the day, you would have had like a Driving Force GT or something, and that was like, whoa, look at that, it's amazing wheel. But now we've got Fanatec DD1, we've got Heusinkveld sprint pedals, and I want to use them. So I did. And I'm going to show you how. So in PCSX2, right, let's say you've done all your upgrades, you've got your ROM sorted, it's all working great. How do you get the wheel to work? Now, first and foremost, it works with any DirectInput wheel, which is pretty standard for most modern wheels that work on Windows, and probably made even easier if you have an all-in-one kind of setup, like a Fanatec wheelbase with a wheel with pedals connected to the wheelbase and so forth. I had to do a couple of weird things to get it working with my Heusinkvelds, but I'll show you how I got around that as well. So let's just get stuck into it. So we're on the main screen. We go to settings. We go to controllers to make sure that this window is in the right spot. I'll zoom it in for you so you can see. Now, of course, on the left-hand side, you've got global settings. You've got controller port 1, which is just your normal DualShock controller or whatever you're using. And you'll see down here, you have USB port 1. Now, this is where you can select a wheel device. So we select wheel. And the best one to use, being the best wheel at the time, being the Driving Force Pro, we're going to select that. I'm going to select this revision 11.02. I think it's just an updated version of the emulator controller setup. And then you'll be presented with all your button mappings. Now, great. So steering left, right? We've got to spin the wheel, and it doesn't always work, but it did that time, luckily. Sometimes you'll find when you're setting your steering axis that you need to really like jam it like halfway and then spin it back to center, and then it'll recognize the axis. Steering right, same thing. It worked that time as well. It doesn't always, but just play around with it and you'll be fine. Throttle, this was a tricky one. The problem I had, when you select throttle and then you press down on the throttle, you'll see here that it has a negative value. Now that means it's registered the down press of the throttle. And when you get into the game, there's no way to invert it, right? So it'll think that the throttle being not pressed is the throttle at full throw, right? So we're sitting there at max throttle, and the same thing for the brake, right? Press the brake, also negative. They were just both locked. So to drive, I had to hold the brake and leave the accelerator, and then to brake, release the brake. So it's completely reversed. Now, I sat there for ages trying to work this out. There was even Reddit posts and things about this where people said, I don't know how to fix this. It doesn't seem to work. There's no way to invert the controls and so on. But, you know, and they were looking here, there's an ignore inversion setting that you can set, and nothing worked, right? What I worked out was that if you hold your throttle at full throttle, and I mean hard, so it's registering an absolute maximum throttle, then click it, and then you release it, and then you'll get where it says full axis, right? So that's now registered that it's a full throw axis, right? I know that some pedal sets, you know, can have a dead zone at the front, at the start and at the end. And if you don't really push hard enough, it doesn't recognize it as a 100% axis. And that's what causes that problem. So do the same thing. And I'm really pushing hard on, on my brake. So push it in, let go, and it should work. If it doesn't, just try again. You have to just push hard, at least on the Heusinkvelds where I've got a dead zone set. So there you go. But anyway, let me know how you go if it works. Then force feedback, and force feedback does work. It's not hugely detailed as you would expect. It's PS2, right? But to set this, you're really just clicking any button on what you're using. So it knows that it needs to send force feedback to this device, and it does the rest. Now the rest is all pretty self-explanatory. Find your buttons for your D-pad, X square, circle, triangle, shift up, shift down. Paddle shifters work fine, no problems there at all. And then we're good to go. So you can of course set the settings on the wheel itself. If you have a Fanatec wheel base, then you can set a profile for it and whatnot. Same with SimuCube and all the others. I'm sure you can do the same. I dialed it in a little bit. It's not perfect, but it certainly works well enough for me. So there you go. I just wanted to show you guys how that works. But I'll jump in and let's see what it looks like. Besides the little intro video that I did, let's actually get into the best car in Gran Turismo, the Castrol Tom Supra, and send it around a track and see how we go. Okay, so here we are. We're in the game. This beautiful game. I actually forgot to mention, there's another mod that I've got installed in this, or a patch rather, which I will also link below, which is a HD HUD and UI mod. So when you run this game in really high resolutions, like right now it's running in 4K internal resolution, you'll find that the text on screen and the UI and things is quite blocky. So you need to, if you want to sharpen that up, there's a mod for that. So very useful to have. It makes the game feel really modern, almost, not quite, but borderline PS3, I'd say, at some points. But anyway, let's just jump into arcade mode, time trial. World circuits. So you can see some things aren't super crisp, but like, where it says Nürburgring and stuff at the bottom here, Laguna Seca, that's crisp. Video, not so much. But they had to fit quite a lot onto that DVD back in the day. We're going to do, because I haven't unlocked that many tracks, let's just do, I don't want to do a whole lap of the Nürburgring because it's the Nordschleife. Let's do Tsukuba circuit. And of course it's going to be this absolute weapon. But look how good it looks. You'd be forgiven for thinking that that's a PS3 screenshot if it wasn't, a little bit less detailed than probably PS3 can do, I'm sure. But anyway, let's get into it. Manual, we're going to go racing softs because, Motorsport, and see how we go. And that text there is a little bit blocky. I don't think they've changed that in the patch. Not every piece of text has been updated, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. It's still pretty good. All right, let's see how it goes. Hopefully all the button mapping still works. So you can see paddle shifting is working fine. The force feedback is quite light, I would say. You can crank it like I might do right now, in fact. Force feedback strength, let's make it like 50 and try again. Yeah, that's a bit better. But it does, you have to be very careful. There's a threshold. So if you go too far with the force feedback, it will clip and you'll lose force feedback for a little while until it recovers and comes back. So this is working pretty well. If we go out of this outside view, you'll see that I forget how to shift gears even in Gran Turismo, so that's great. But yeah, pretty good looking, I have to say. But I like the bumper view. I just realised as well I have to keep talking because there's copyright music playing in the background of this. So la 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 la. Gran Turismo 4, everybody. It's a great game. We're enjoying it. That's another thing. You'll see there that there's a bit of oscillation on the wheel. I've managed to get that down a little bit by turning down the force effect intensity and things. It does still kind of stick around though at high speeds. Like if you're going on the whoa. If you're going down the straight on the Nordschleife, for example, it will go ballistic. So you have to sit there and kind of just hold on for dear life till you get to the end. But if you really wanted a way to play Gran Turismo in a more sim racing feel, like I've always treated Gran Turismo as a couch racer, right? Like I know they put a lot of effort into the game to make it as realistic as they can, but you know, to me, growing up as a kid, I never had, well, not for a while anyway, I didn't have the wheel set up and things like that, right? So it was always just controller, PS1, PS2, PS3, all the way through. Even Gran Turismo 7, I play on the couch. Because one, I don't have a wheelbase that supports PlayStation, but anyway, I probably would still play it on the couch even if I did. Playing Gran Turismo 4 like this is something else, and it's something if you grew up playing Gran Turismo 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way through, then this will really, it's really something special, I think. Not perfect, but quite fun. So that's all she wrote. Just wanted to try to show you guys this. This is running in 4K internal resolution with the HD texture pack, with the HUD and UI HD mod, and de-interlacing, so there's no weird streaky artifacts like the PS2 used to have. This is stuff that we probably dreamed of back in the day. Let's just get this this lap done, and then we'll call it a day. It would be interesting to try some of the license tests, I think, with this setup. There you go. There you go, sub-minute lap. That's good enough for now. But anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more Gran Turismo content, look, hey, I'm not going to say no. I'll play this. You watch. I hope. Please watch. But I love Gran Turismo, and especially Gran Turismo 4, and I'd be happy to play it. So I will be back with, and I say that, hopefully you'll believe me this time, but I will be back with some Le Mans Ultimate content as well, because I do want to dig into that a bit. I know Every Man and His Dog is currently playing at the moment, so there's no shortage of videos on that on YouTube. But I will give my 2 cents on that, and maybe just give it a little bit to settle though, because I think there's some issues, some server issues and things at the moment too, so we'll see how we go. But I wanted to try something different today upon my 15th return to YouTube. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you like these sorts of videos? Do you want to see me do other PlayStation 2 games? Because I can. I've got them. But no, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And until the next one, I'll catch you later. Thanks. See ya.